Gender equality at local level. In this presentation, we will address several basic questions regarding gender equality. First of all, what does it mean? Are we equal or not? What does it mean to be equal? And how can we reach the desired level of equality? We will also explore some basic theory regarding gender and gender equality, as well as the relevance of gender issues at the level of local government. Each of us could make his or her own definition of gender equality. In some training courses, participants design their own definitions, and there are many interesting views of what it could be, from who is having the TV remote control up to how much men and women earn, or who makes the big political decisions. One of the official definitions outlined by the Council of Europe states that gender equality means an equal visibility, empowerment, responsibility and participation of both sexes in all spheres of public and private life. It also means an equal access to and distribution of resources between women and men. It means accepting and valuing equally the difference of women and men and the diverse roles that they play in society. It is important to notice that the definition refers to both public and private life. It involves both responsibilities and duties which contribute to the society, but also the right to enjoy the benefits which arise from the society. The definition involves men and women and accepts the differences between them. In fact, it confirms that there may be differences, but those differences should be equally valued, such as the roles they play in the society. This comprehensive definition describes a perfect situation of equality in all spheres of life. But what is the reality of it? The European Institute for Gender Equality, EIGE, an autonomous body of the European Union established to contribute to and strengthen the promotion of gender equality, has created a comprehensive set of indicators to measure the level of gender equality in each member state. They take data from 6 main domains and 2 subdomains and calculate a single measure for each country and each domain. According to their calculations, the bottom line number for the entire European Union is 52.9 out of 100, which means that there is almost a halfway to go to reach a full equality. Some of the members of NALAS are also the members of the EU, so if you would like to explore more about the index in different countries and different areas, please refer to the Institute's website. As we have seen in the previous slide, the European Union is only halfway on its path towards gender equality, although, for some reason, most of us would expect them to be more advanced when it comes to gender equality matters. In fact, if we look at the global situation, yes, they are quite good. Some of the most advanced countries in the world in terms of gender equality are the European ones. According to another ranking made by the World Economic Forum, the top 5 places are held by Iceland, Norway, Finland, Sweden and Ireland, and many other EU members are among the first 15 on the list. However, even if the EU countries are good compared to the others, their level of equality is not satisfactory. A lot of additional work and effort is required both in Europe and all over the world. Later on, we will explore who and how could invest in this effort, but first, let us clarify some basic terms. The most common term used here is gender. It is a relatively new concept. It used to be employed for grammatical gender of nouns until the 20th century, when it started getting more and more into the focus of sociological research. We know that it refers to men and women, but gender is not a synonym for sex. Sex is a term used in biology and medicine, and represents male or female characteristics of a human being, based on the anatomy of reproductive organs, chromosomes, hormone levels, etc. Although the actual situation could be far more complicated when these factors are combined, Nonetheless, we are accustomed to a more or less binary segregation on male and female individuals. This is the reason why statistics recognize those two categories, so whenever a baby is born, it is classified as a boy or a girl. This kind of segregation is required in most countries of the world, even if biological characteristics are not always fully conclusive. After we classify individuals in a binary way, the society attaches them a lot of attributes, characteristics, expectations, descriptions, limitations, complements, messages that actually form their gender. So if someone is classified as a girl, the society, which includes family, friends, school, media, culture, etc., has an expectation that should be nice, pretty, calm, neat, healthy, caring, talkative, or behave in a certain way. That set of expectations, limitations, attributes is what actually defines a gender. Gender includes norms of behavior and roles in the society. Think about your own norms. What norms were created for you while you were growing up? Who influenced your behavior as a man or a woman? What were you expected to become and why? Many people become very emotional when they think about these questions. It is a personal question for each and every one of us. So dealing with gender is quite a sensitive and complex issue. One way or another, everyone is involved in and affected by gender norms and roles. Now that we have explained what gender means and described gender norms and roles, let us move forward. In each group of people, family, organization, community, society, there is a specific order where everyone knows their place, appropriate for their gender. That order is called the gender system, and within it, men and women are typically divided horizontally, meaning that they operate in more or less separated areas, but also vertically. The vertical division means that men have more power in the hierarchy of organization. Understanding the gender system is very important. When gender equality is discussed, often many accusations can be heard, but it is important to understand that neither women nor men are to be blamed for that. The system is to be blamed. Therefore, understanding and deconstructing the system is the responsibility of both women and men, and can only be done if they all cooperate. Along with the gender characteristics that give individuals a starting position in a society, there are many other characteristics that intersect with the gender identity. Being born in a rich or in a poor family, having different skin color, health condition, dress code, religion, name and family name, physical appearance or ability, sexuality, etc., can influence someone's chances to take different positions in life. Understanding this kind of relation between identities means keeping in mind that gender never acts alone. It intersects with many other aspects and identities, so when we deal with gender issues, an intersectional approach is needed. Gender inequalities are global phenomena, and therefore achieving equality requires global action. In 1979, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, today well known as CEDAW Convention. In 1995, the UN had a big conference in Beijing, and on that occasion, the Beijing Platform for Action was adopted. It is important to point out that it is in this document that gender mainstreaming was introduced as a strategy for the first time. After that, it was further elaborated in the UN Millennium Development Goals, and now there's a Sustainable Development Goals, where one of them is explicitly dedicated to reaching gender equality, while other themes also include gender equality and cross-cutting issue. Europe has its own history of promoting gender equality, which started with one of the foundation documents of the EU, the Treaty of Rome from 1957, where the principle of equal pay was formally introduced. Since then, many documents, directives, recommendations and strategies have followed. When it comes to the national level, each country has its own specific features, but most of the Southeast European countries, where NALAS members operate, have some kind of legal framework that promotes gender equality. Some of the countries have it written in the constitution, while others have a special law on gender equality, anti-discrimination and even gender budgeting. Since 2006, the most prominent document relevant for local governments level in Europe is the European Charter for Equality of Women and Men in Local Life, released by the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, CEMR, after the implementation of the project Towns for Equality, funded by the European Commission. So far, the Charter has been signed by 1,619 local and regional authorities in 33 countries from all over Europe. It provides political framework for municipalities, but also serves as a practical tool that provides guidelines on how to implement gender equality. Now that we understand that gender issues are being considered at all levels, when we take a deeper look in the activities and documents that were adopted throughout history, we can see that the approach is changing. At the beginning, it was important to set the legislation that will guarantee equality to women and men. This strategy is known as equality in law. This is an essential and mandatory precondition for gender equality. But unfortunately, it is not sufficient. Let us explain this by making use of an example, such as decision-making. Many decades after women were legally guaranteed the rights to elect and be elected, we can see that the representation of elected women is not even close to being equal. There are many factors like inherited beliefs, stereotypes, gender system that prevent women from being equal with men in decision-making. After fulfilling the equality in law precondition, other types of measures are needed. Due to historically inherited disadvantages and different starting positions in the political arena, women need more support. This is accomplished through specific measures for advancement or the so-called positive action. This sort of measure is also known as the quota for less represented sex. This quota system is not a perfect solution, but provides a way to make the starting positions of women in politics closer to that of men. However, we know that sometimes, just like men, women can create and adopt policies that actually sustain the existing system and inequalities. That does not mean they're doing that on purpose. Most often they just do things in the way it has always been done. Due to this problem, a need for another strategy arises. It is called gender mainstreaming, and it brings gender perspective in all decisions at all levels. Regardless of who made the policy, it is important how the policy is made. It should take into consideration the existing gender inequalities and bring an improvement for those in worse position, usually women, sometimes men. It demands knowledge of the basic gender theory. It takes a lot of data into account and uses certain analytical methods. If applied systematically, gender mainstreaming can improve people's lives and gender equality in many areas of everyday life. This is the definition of gender mainstreaming given by the Council of Europe. Gender mainstreaming is the reorganization, improvement, development and evaluation of policy processes so that a gender equality perspective is incorporated in all policies at all levels and at all stages by the actors normally involved in policy making. We should keep in mind that specific gender equality policies and gender mainstreaming are dual and complementary strategies and must go hand in hand with each other when reaching the goal of gender equality. Of course, the equality in law is mandatory, as it has already been mentioned. Gender mainstreaming strategy uses many different tools and methods. For the purpose of this course, we will further explore gender analysis, which also means using gender statistics from module number 3, as well as gender budgeting and gender-sensitive stakeholder consultations from modules 2 and 4. The entire course is an example of how gender awareness raising and training should be done. If you are interested in getting to know more about the methods and tools employed, feel free to further explore the references given in the reading material. The role of local government is very important in serving citizens' everyday needs and providing their rights. Therefore, the role of local government in providing gender equality in services and rights is not their choice, but their duty. There are some basic services provided at the local level, which strongly influence the position of women and men and their abilities to be equal participants in public or private life. Children daycare, elderly or disabled care, healthcare, etc. There are also services which are usually seen as unrelated to equality between women and men. Transportation, cleaning the streets, street lighting, water supply, culture, recreation, etc. All these services are usually perceived as not relevant for any gender issue. But if municipalities view them through a gender-sensitive approach, it could surprise how much they get affected by gender inequalities and, on the positive side, how much they can contribute to gender equality. Municipalities can take many actions to promote and provide gender equality at local level. For example, the least they can do is make a political statement on gender equality, along with promoting gender equality as a value, with their representatives speak in public. Many languages provide possibility for gender-sensitive speech, which should be used as a tool for promoting some occupations and position in non-traditional way. For example, if you use the word mayor in a female gender, we make the public used to the idea that a woman can be the mayor. For a serious gender-sensitive policy making, the provision of data segregation by gender is a necessity. Local governments can develop their own system of data collection. The real meaning of gender-sensitive statistics is reached when data is analyzed through gender-sensitive lenses. One such method of analysis will be described in Module 3, and it is called 3R method. This method can be applied in any area of the local government's functioning. The most important local policy, the one that gives life to all other policies, is the local budget. In that sense, local governments can implement a gender perspective in its budgeting process, implement gender-sensitive audit and monitor its implementation. One way of contributing to gender equality is the gender-sensitive stakeholder consultation, which can be a mode of working in any area of the municipal government's work. And of course, learning from others and letting others learn from your past experiences is fair and efficient. Gender inequalities are not fair, and providing full equality for women and men is therefore a matter of respecting human rights. At the same time, it is inefficient for a society to have more than a half of its population underrepresented, under-involved and unengaged in social development. Gender equality should be treated seriously at any level of authority, both because of fairness and because of economy and resources available for its development. To summarize what we have learned so far, we will take a look at the flowchart presented here. The statistics and the data show that at present we face gender inequalities in many aspects of life. Roots of these inequalities are in gender roles and norms, established gender systems and historical heritage. We have a goal to reach gender equality in all spheres of life. To reach this goal, long-run actions should be undertaken by many actors, individuals, organizations, institutions, governments at all levels, local NGOs, international organizations, academic institutions and, of course, local government associations. To reach the goal of gender equality, different strategies should be combined. Equality in law as an absolute must, and as complementary strategies, special measures to advance women and gender mainstreaming. To be able to perform gender mainstreaming, sex-segregated statistics is required. Reaching gender equality goals means changing the society, for example, changing personal attitudes, organizational practice, institutional practice and legal framework. The vision of the gender-equal world includes equality in education and non-stereotyped job selection, equal participation of women and men in labor market, and equal pay for the work of equal value, equal distribution of power in decision-making processes, equal division of household duties and time spent in care economy, elimination of all types of men's violence against women, etc. The world where our children can reach their full potential regardless of their gender.